all. If you are new, my name is Marin. Welcome to another reading vlog. This year I am hoping to do 2 themed vlogs per month. The first one will have already gone up and you will have seen that it is an Unwrap It vlog where I have taken inspiration from Megan over at Meg with Books, wrapped up all of my 2023 purchases that I didn't read, and I'm going to be picking one each month throughout the year. The other themed vlog is going to be making more use of my TBR jar. Now, my TBR jar has every title from my Goodreads Want to Read list that was on the list as of December 31st. So I will not be adding any titles from 2024 to this jar. This is simply what the list looked like at the end of 2023. And what I'm going to be doing is I am going to be pulling 1 title per month from this jar, vlogging me reading it, and in that way cross a few more of these off than I would normally get to. So there are some chunkers in here. There is some very thick nonfiction. There are some novellas. There are series books. There is everything that you could possibly think of because this is every book from my Goodreads Want to Read list. So I will actually leave a link to my Want to Read list down below in the description box if you would like to peruse it. But yeah, there's some dangerous books in here. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be drawing the slip of paper out now because I may need to get the book from the library, so I want to give myself enough time to get hold of the book before I need to actually read it. So let's go ahead and give it a shake. And I'm going to draw my first TBR jar book of 2024. Now I was supposed to draw one of these for my January TBR, but I didn't have it done. So that's why I said this will be the first one from the jar. It's not my first random pick, but it will be the first one from the jar. So enough of that, let's not stall. I've opened it up. I'm gonna just reach in and pull out one, and whatever that is, we're gonna read in this vlog. Okay, here's one. Oh, this, like I said, this could be dangerous. This could be dangerous. Okay. All right. This one maybe isn't too bad, so hopefully you can read that. This is called All Along You Were Blooming. I believe this has to do with grief. It's kind of like a self-help type book. Here's the cover. I will need to get this from the library, so hopefully my library has it. Otherwise, we may need to come back and draw another one. So let me do a quick check and make sure I can actually get my hands on this one. Pause, please. Okay, so it is available at my library. However, there are currently no copies available because they're all checked out. It says the ebook, or the e-audiobook rather, might be available. So let me see. I did put a hold on for it, but it doesn't give me an idea of when it might be in. So let's take a look. Okay, no, it's not available. So I think I'm gonna go ahead actually and draw another one. I'm gonna keep this one as a hold, and when it comes in I'll eventually read it, but I'm gonna pick something else for this vlog just because I have no idea when that's gonna actually be, and I do want to do an actual vlog in January. So, okay, let's pick again. And I'm gonna come, oh, this one. Oh, nope, that's 2. Okay, let's try that again. Some of them are getting stuck inside each other. Okay, let's try this one. Oh, okay, this one I should be able to get. This is A Slow Fire Burning. Isn't that Paula Hawkins? Let me see if the library's got it. I would assume. It's not that old. Okay, there we go. This one I can do. This one is plenty available. So it actually looks like it might be at my local library, but I'm just going to put a hold on it and then they can get it for me rather than me going and searching for it. So that's the one we're going to do. Let me read you the synopsis so we're all on the same page, and then when the book comes in from the library, I will let you know in this video, and then we'll start reading it. Okay, so it says, Paula Hawkins unfurls a gripping, twisting story of deceit, murder, and revenge. When a young man is found gruesomely murdered in a London houseboat, it triggers questions about 3 women who knew him. Laura is the troubled one-night stand last seen in the victim's home. Carla is his grief-stricken aunt, already mourning the recent death of yet another family member. And Miriam is the nosy neighbor, clearly keeping secrets from the police. 3 women with separate connections to the victim. 3 women who are, whether they know it or not, burning to right the wrongs done to them. When it comes to revenge, even good people might be capable of terrible deeds. How far might any one of them go to find peace? How long can secrets smolder before they explode into flame? Look what you started. Okay, so I know a lot of people have like hit or miss relationships with Paula Hawkins. I read The Girl on the Train and quite enjoyed it. I think I gave it 4 stars, but I read it years and years and years ago. So this will be the second book that I read by her, and we'll see how it goes. But A Slow Fire Burning will be the one that I'm going to be reading in this vlog. So again, once I have the book in my hands, I will come back and talk to you about it. So I will see you when that happens.
Penguin Random House Audio presents A Slow Fire Burning by Paula Hawkins. Read for you by Rosamund Pike.
Hello all, long time no chat. We're like 2 weeks after the last time I talked to the camera, which is when I picked the books out of my TBR jar. So there's been a slight little change of plan, because as I was looking more into All Along You Were Blooming, I realized that it was an illustrated poetry book. So I just went ahead and picked the book up. So it has full color illustrations and it's poetry, which is not what I was expecting. I was thinking that this was more, I don't know, like self-help-ish, I guess, and I guess it is sort of, but it's poems. She actually has an Instagram where she posts like her art. Like here's another example. So this is divided into 4 sections. It's for the heart, for the mind, for the body, for the soul. So right here, I have read the For the Heart. I read that yesterday. And to be honest, nothing really jumped out at me and like struck me as particularly thoughtful or important, I guess. So it was fine. One thing I don't like is that she uses this like peach colored page a lot, but there were a few poems where she had that background with white text and it was very difficult to read, and I don't have difficulty reading. So just kind of a little aside. Again, poetry is not something that I am naturally drawn to. So here's an example of like the white text on the background. It was just kind of difficult to read. So poetry is not something I read a lot of. I want to try to read more of it, but I am not probably the target audience for this book, but I'm still hoping that I will find some poems in here that do like strike a chord with me or whatever. So I did pick this up. I've read the first part, and today I'm going to read For the Mind, and I will come back and chat with you once I have finished that, let you know if anything was like a standout. So I did pick that up. That was just a slight change. I also have already listened to the audio of A Slow Fire Burning by Paula Hawkins, so this one is done. I liked The Girl on the Train. I think I read it when it first came out. I can't quite remember, but I gave that one 4 stars. And I really liked this one too. This one does not have the highest of ratings. It's like a 3.5 on Goodreads. I find that with thrillers, you have like very drastic ratings. So you have 1 stars, 5 stars, and you have a lot of like mid-range 3 stars, which is the case for this one. I'm giving this 4 stars. I quite enjoyed it. It is not like the most twisty thriller ever. I did kind of have a few things figured out, or at least the guesses that I'd been making turned out to be correct, but there were some things that I did not have correct. Basically, you are following 3 women. The first one is Miriam. She lives on a houseboat, and a man is killed on the houseboat next to her. She finds the body, so she becomes like involved in the case. So she's the first woman. Then you have the dead man's aunt, whose name is Carla. And then you have Laura, who is like a 25-year-old woman who suffered a traumatic brain injury when she was 13, I think. And you have her point of view. She's a hot mess, like she says it straight out, and everyone around her agrees. She's a hot mess. Obviously, there's a reason for it, but those are your three main points of view. But then you also get points of views from Carla's ex-husband, Theo, and Irene, who is a lady that Laura helps like with her groceries and stuff like that. So there are a lot of point of views in here. If that's not your thing, I would avoid. I tend to like multi-POVs for the most part, and this reminds me a lot of Lucy Foley. Now, I've only read one book by her, which was The Paris Apartment, which I didn't really like. I liked this one a lot better. I think part of why I liked this one, though, is that the audio is narrated by Rosamund Pike, and she does a phenomenal job. So if you're curious about this book, I'd highly recommend the audio. It was fantastic. So this one is finished. I gave it 4 stars. I'm sorry I didn't come back and like chat with you like throughout my reading experience, but I flew through the audio of this. I was listening at like every spare moment, and I had this done in 2 days. So this one is finished. I'm sorry I didn't vlog it again, like I said, but I am going to do better about vlogging this one. So as I mentioned, I will come back and chat with you once I have finished For the Mind. My goal is going to be to do For the Mind and For the Body, and then I can do For the Soul tomorrow, and we will close out this vlog. It is a long weekend for me. It is Martin Luther King Jr. Day tomorrow, so I am off work. So this should definitely get done. I shouldn't have any problem. It didn't take me very long to read that first section at all because some of the poems are quite short. So yeah, that's that. That's the update. And I'll bring you along on whatever else I happen to get up to, but I am happy that I was able to read A Slow Fire Burning because that's one less book in my TBR jar and on my want to read list, and one that I probably would not have read anytime soon had I not drawn it from the jar, which is the whole point of this. So yes, 4 stars for this one. An update will be forthcoming on this one. Hello all, happy Monday. I have a reading update. I did just finish reading For the Mind, which was the second part of this. There were a couple poems that I did enjoy. So one was about children, and I just thought it was cute because obviously I work with kids, but it looks like this with like the little scribbles and drawings and stuff, which was really cute. It says, "Children are not afraid to let go and forget everything and start over again and again, laughing, crying, asking, loving as they learn to live with bravery," which I thought was cute. So that's that one. So then she had one called Little Reminders for the Overthinker, which she did in like little boxes like this. So it says things like, waiting doesn't always mean waiting around, give more than you receive, faith is built in the unknown, you don't have to have the answers, take the scenic route, etc., which I just thought was nice. So I liked that one. And then she had a very simple one, which I think we can all like try to do better at, but it just says, make a practice of resting, which teachers especially are not very good at. So yeah, a few standouts there that I enjoyed. I really liked the art right here of this last one. I thought these flowers were really beautiful, and the poem is talking about flowers, so that was why she chose that. Obviously, there were a couple others. Let me see if I can find them. Like this one's really pretty as well. She had a bunch of them that were talking about like lights and like late nights. So like here's one of them right here. But yeah, just really simple illustrations. I definitely think reading this physically is the way to go if you're going to do that, because the illustrations really do add to the poem. So I finished For the Mind. So now I will be moving on to For the Body. I'll come back and chat with you. I think I'm going to go ahead and finish this today. I do still have another section after this, which is For the Soul, which I'm guessing is probably going to be more religious. I'm not necessarily the most religious person, but my guess would be that that one's going to be a little bit more religious. There are definitely mentions of like a higher power throughout all of the poems that I've read so far. So if that's not your thing, I would not recommend. But yeah, it's very pretty to look at. I don't know that it's anything earth-shattering, but again, I still have 2 sections left. So I will come back and chat with you, give you an update on those, and close out this vlog. So I will see you in a bit once I've read this next part. Hello all, I have another reading update. It is significantly later since the last time I talked to you, but I did just finish reading For the Body, and this one did have a few more that I quite enjoyed, so I will kind of show you a few of them. So one of them looks like this, and mostly I just liked the whole aesthetic of it. So it says, follow your creative curiosity, never let the ones with brimming galleries and walls after walls of their life's work stop you from picking up your paintbrush and dipping into that little sea of paint that excitedly awaits what will take shape. Remember your childhood wonder. Which I just liked, again, the whole aesthetic with like the paintbrush and things like that. The message behind it is really nice. And then there was another one, it looks like this. I mostly like this little piece right here. It says, it takes courage to live through heartbreak. Breathing is no small feat, which is kind of just a nice reminder. The whole thing is about basically how just living every day can be brave for some people. So that was kind of what that one was about. This one also, it's got 2 little roses on it. It says, it is more than okay if giving your all means starting small and taking it day by day. Every beautiful rose begins as a seed and is made precisely this way. So again, just the visual of it is very nice. I also liked this one right here. It's a little bit longer. It says, maybe someday I'll point my face right into the mirror and actually feel layer by layer that I too am beautiful. Maybe that day can be today. Maybe I can stop looking for symmetry and learn to embrace the blemishes, to accept me for me without the pretense of who I thought I had to be. Again, nice message. So yeah, I liked quite a few of them. There were a couple more. I liked like the art, just the very simple illustrations for that one. And then she had another kind of like daily affirmation one, which I quite enjoyed. So I'll let you, if you want to pause it, you can read it. And then this one right here was also a nice message. It says, being yourself does not mean you have yourself all figured out. It just means you are allowed to show up without the expectation of who someone else said you should be. So I definitely think that the For the Body part was more my speed, if you will. There are still some kind of religious references in a couple of these. So again, keep that in mind. This one was another nice one. I'll let you kind of pause and read it. But yeah, so I'm definitely enjoying it. I just think the whole overall aesthetic of the book is very good. It's a very beautiful book. So I do have just the final section left right here. It is like 8 o'clock already, so I'm going to finish this tonight, but I don't know if I'll come back and chat with you. I might wait and do that tomorrow, but regardless, I am going to finish this tonight. I definitely am hoping that since I liked For the Body a little bit more than the previous 2, that I will also like For the Soul, but I do have a feeling that that one's going to be more religious, so it may not be exactly what I'm looking for, but definitely a very beautiful book. I'm happy to keep this on my shelves, and I will let you know full thoughts when I have an update, probably tomorrow. Hello all, I have my final reading update. Side note, it's Tuesday. We have a snow day today. It was just supposed to be PD for teachers, but we got like snow and ice, and it's very cold. So they didn't make us go to PD today, which is very exciting. So I get to have another day, a 4-day weekend. Yay. Anyway, I did finish this as I mentioned that I would. So let me kind of chat about some standouts. As I expected, this one did have some more mentions of like a higher power. She uses the word light a lot, which she capitalizes to indicate that she means like God or a higher being. So that is very prevalent in this section. So again, if that's not your thing, do avoid. But I did have a few that I liked. So first of all, we have This one here, which is just flowers, it says, the thing about sowing seeds and waiting for them to spring into their bloom is that before any of that begins, the soil must be prepared. The ground must be broken before anything can grow. So I liked that one. Again, the aesthetic. There was another one, this one right here, talking about like trees in the winter. So I liked the visual of that one. And there was also one here, it's like talking about an airport, so I just want to kind of share the drawing there, which I really liked. It's talking about like being brave and traveling to new places and not being afraid. This one right here just says, sun rises in August, handwritten letters on Tuesday, and afternoon lullabies of cars driving by. Those things are worth living for too. So yeah, just nice little reminders. I definitely think that this is very well put together. A lot of thought went into like the way the illustrations were done, the way the text sits on the page. It's a very beautiful book. As I mentioned, it's not meant for me. I'm not a poetry person, but I could see myself revisiting this throughout different parts of my life and having things mean something for me at that point that they wouldn't necessarily mean for me right now in the present, because obviously as you go through life, things change. So I could definitely see myself picking this back up and reading it again. I wouldn't say that this is the best thing ever. I'm giving it 3 stars, but I do think it's a beautifully put together book, and I can see that a lot of other people would find a lot of meaning in the individual poems. For me, I'm not a poetry person, so yeah, I take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Yeah, here's another one that just looks really pretty. So there are definitely some very nice visual things here. This one too, Hope is a Small Rebellion. I liked that one. Again, just very simple. This one too, the road that takes you far may bend you and break you, but it makes you who you are. And the drawing is a road. So yeah, I would say if you are at all curious about it, give it a go. It wasn't terribly expensive. I did have a gift card, so I didn't spend any money on it at all. But I could definitely see that for some people, this would be wonderful. For me, it was fine. 3 stars. Again, I could easily see myself rereading this at other points in my life and getting different feelings about the poems at that point. So this is done. This closes out this vlog. I hope you enjoyed my first TBR Jar vlog of the year. My plan is to do one of these each month and kind of just work through some titles that I otherwise probably would not get to. But yes, finishing with a 3-star. This one was a 4-star. All in all, pretty solid start to this vlog series. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more from me. And I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.